I'm here in this trash room today to go over what makes a great service in an area like this. Unfortunately, we received this regular commercial account at this restaurant because the national brand wasn't taking care of it. They were getting heavy fly activity and a lot of German roaches. So an area like this, with that type of activity, takes very consistent and specific regular services. As you can tell, we've got a dumpster bin in here. We've even got the grease trap. And if you look over my shoulder here, we've got the water heater. And of course, this place gets cleaned and mopped regularly, so we have a lot of moisture. But the biggest thing that we're fighting here is the humidity. It's in a very small room, I would say no bigger than, I would say 20 by 8 feet wide. So they've got the roll-up door for the trash company and the grease guys to access the dumpster and the grease bin. And they've got a door entering from the hallway, which happens to lead right out into the dining room, believe it or not. So you have a very, very intense area for possible activity, both roaches and flies. So what do we do here in this situation? It just takes the right treatment in the right way with the right can. So overall, surface treatment. The surface treatment in here has to go from ceiling to floor, perimeter, and has to treat all the surfaces of all of your trash receptacles, including your dumpster, on the sides, in the forklift hooks, the wheels, underneath, right? The lids, top and bottom. You've got to treat your grease pit. Even the brushes, and my favorite that gets missed, the brooms. German roaches love to hide in the bristles of your brooms and mops, okay? What we're using is 3 parts. We're using a liquid residual chemical, which my favorite is tempered FX, and then we're putting an additive in there called Exciter R. What that does is twofold. The exciter is going to knock down any fly and insect activity that's in this room immediately. It's what we call an immediate knockdown. Now, the exciter leaves a little bit of a residual, but it's not very strong. But it is oil-based, so it sticks quickly. We back that up with the tempered FX, and that's a long-term liquid broad-spectrum residual that's going to help over time control those insects as they touch the chemical on the surfaces. But more importantly, and what gets missed often, are the crack and crevice treatment. This is an older structure, an older building, so what you've got here is you've got a lot of cracks and crevices, like along here, okay? And under the bottom here, where you have your base trim tile meeting the wall. Look, you've even got cracks in the tile itself. Also over here, on the water heater edge, you can see this water heater is kind of sunken into the ground. They've almost got it cemented in, okay? That's a problem. You can see where our treatment, we've got dead roaches already. Check that out, okay? But then also the same cracks and crevices where they've had the wood that helps the dumpster prevent from damaging the wall here. Our utility lines, okay? Those are all important areas to get crack and crevice treated. Look here. Look even between the pieces of wood, this crack. That has to get crack and crevice treated around this wood, the utilities, the braces for the water heater. That's all critical for getting crack and crevice treated on a regular basis, simply because of what's stored in here and the humidity, okay? It's gonna breed everything very consistently. It's also gonna wipe away that chemical more often, so you've gotta get the chemical down to where it goes. Extremely important. And for that crack and crevice, Sidekick. #1 oil-based aerosol chemical. Put the straw on there and go to town. Cherry on top are the new van strips. If you look right up here, I've got 1, 2 new van strips hanging in this area. Now, new van strips are good for up to about 400 square feet, but in higher and more humidity activity areas like this, double up, okay? That's gonna work best at giving you an overall vapor that comes down and will really help with the long-term fly control and management. So there you go, a great way to treat and keep an area like this controlled and pests down to a minimum to keep your client and their guests happy.